All right. Welcome to another Real Talk Hangout on Tuesday. As always, my name is Jay Mass, and we've got a smallish panel tonight, but we wanted to really get back to hitting on some great key points for you guys. And tonight's topic is a great one. It's 3 steps to change, and it's around your decisions, your mindset, and your taking proper action, right? So with that said, my name is Justin Messina. I am a health and lifestyle coach, and I focus a lot on the mindset and getting people to the right place where it's not only about the know-how, it's about how to actually implement things into your life for people who have a lot of inner obstacles that they aren't aware of. With that said, we've got Victor Dadaj with us. Victor, how you doing?
Doing great. How you doing, buddy?
Great, I'm doing great. We've got Rob Shepard. What's going on, Rob?
Okay. My name is Rob Shepard, and I go by the name of Shepard Fit. I'm a health, fitness, and lifestyle coach where I help to motivate the unmotivated and inspire the uninspired, and also give hope to the hopeless. So, with that said, let's roll over to Victor, and we have an awesome hangout tonight for you. We have a few things we're changing, which it's going to be off the chain. So if you see this one, get ready because next week is going to be even bigger. The following week going to be bigger. So stay tuned and make sure you're locked in.
Okay, it's Victor. I'm an internet lifestyle coach. I help people succeed online and help them with their marketing as well. And it's great to be here tonight.
Awesome, awesome. So let's jump right into it. We want to, I want to jump right into decision making and how to make great decisions. And I want to start with a topic that I'm just going to let flow. I'm going to put it out there, and we're just going to run with it like we do on these Tuesday nights. So I want to start with who to surround yourself with when you're making a lifestyle change. And I also want to touch on, if you're an entrepreneur as well, but making a lifestyle change, who to surround yourself with, right? So I want to take an example of, say you're trying to make a fitness change, right? And you've tried different programs. You've tried to maybe eat a certain way. You've tried certain diets, things like that. You're just trying to do what's best for you. And there's so much information. It's information overload. And what it's natural to believe is that the information itself is what's going to get you to your goal. And what often happens is there's overwhelm, but there's also patterns that happen within your mind. You've created patterns throughout your life based on your life experience, the bulk of your life experience. You've created mental patterns where you might have a block in your mind where being fit means a certain thing to you, or it's hard to get fit because XYZ. So when you say, if you were to hire a personal trainer, as an example, you want to hire a personal trainer that is going to understand where you're at, not bring themselves down to a level that's lower where you're sort of, dramatically going through your problems, but someone who is going to understand where you're at, so they understand the path. And the best way to do this is if you could get a personal trainer that's been where you're at. So if you're like underweight and you want to build lean muscle, and you meet a personal trainer who's sort of just like played sports their whole life and they've never gone through anything, they've just sort of been fit their whole life because that's their upbringing and everything else, then it's going to be really hard for them to relate to where you're at. So they could tell you what to do, and that might be enough for you. But if you've tried a bunch of things and that haven't worked, chances are that's not going to be enough for you. So when you're making decisions for lifestyle changes, it's important to align yourself with people who are going to actually understand your path based on their experiences or an awareness on their part that they're going to be a good leader for you or a good mentor and a good model for you, and not just someone who's been successful in that particular area. So with that said, I just want to keep that short. We're going to just pinball it back and forth. Guys, just jump in when you're ready.
Well, as far as what you're saying, Justin, because when it comes to that decision making and making that proper decision of who you're going to work with, sometimes you find folks are looking for a quick fix. When it comes to lifestyle changes and weight changes or nutritional changes, there's no such thing as a quick fix. And I always try to make sure I steer away folks from looking at that. Well, let me go over to here because this shake is giving people faster results than what's going on here because it's at a slower process. But here's what happened. Whenever you run with something that's at a faster process, what goes up fast comes down fast. So with decision making, you have to make sure you're making the proper decision for long term. What I deal with and what Justin deal with and also Victor is long-term success. Whatever it is, whether it's in business, whether it's in weight, whether it's in nutrition, whether it's in having a better life, whether it's lifestyle, it's long-term success. So if you're looking for someone that you want to partner with as far as you want to be, get in great shape, because it's not about losing weight. Ignore that piece of it, because if you're going to go into trying to say, well, it's to lose weight, what if you don't drop 3 pounds next week, or you don't drop 3 pounds within a month? Most people quit because they find within their mind they're saying it's not working, so they're going to just give up right away. But what if you went in there with a mindset of, I want to get healthier, and you realize that the first week you change your eating habits, eliminate a few bad foods, and you find your energy level goes up. You feel you're more vibrant. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to want to stay with it more than if you was going to get that quick fix and lose weight in a week. So that goes for anything when it comes to making that decision. So when someone comes towards you with, oh, I can get you here in like no time. Oh, you see these ads post out there, $20,000 within a week. Come on. If I can make $20,000 in a week, am I going to tell you? Real talk. Hey, Victor, jump right in, brother.
No, I agree. You got to have them focus on the long term, because that's what lasts. Any kind of short-term fixes don't last. Whether it's trying to lose weight or trying to make money, like you said, if they don't lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks, they're going to quit. But like you said, if they're eating healthy, or if they drop a pound a week, celebrate the little victories, because when you do that, you feel better about yourself, you feel more successful, you're more likely to stay with the program. So you got to, have them focus on celebrating those little victories. And if it's like trying to make more money with their business, okay, so maybe they don't get 10 signups in a month, but maybe they get like a couple people to opt into their autoresponder in a week, or maybe they get 1 sign-up in a week. All those little things that build up on them. So you got to change their mindset to focus on getting those little victories and focusing on the long term. As long as they keep that consistent action and show them that each time they do it, something good happens, and they focus on the long term, they're more likely to stick with the program. So you got to change their mindset. Yeah, like you guys both alluded to, too many people have this quick fix mentality, and that's what it's like being a lottery winner. And we know many lottery winners, like 5 years after they win, they're pretty much at the same level of lifestyle they had when they won the lottery, because they don't think long term. They spend pretty much all the money that they won.
Yep, that's true, because I as you said that, I know people that won millions in the lottery and broke today. Because you know why? I'm going to tell you why they're broke today. You see that S word called selfish, and in it for themselves and not willing to give back? That's why they led to the broke mentality. So that's something that we all have to always think about. When we're making decisions, it revolves around not us alone, it revolves around others. It revolves around your family, it revolves around your kids, it revolves around your network. Like if I'm going to make a decision, I reach out to Justin and say, hey Justin, what do you think about this? And when you're looking to make a decision, you have to be open and ready to hear what's going to come, because there's something that someone may see that you don't see. And make sure you're going towards people that has a mindset and a vision like your vision, or even bigger and better, because if you go to the wrong individual with your decision making, be careful, they will talk you out of it, because not because a person is your friend, that doesn't mean that individual want to see you succeed within life. Let me repeat that again. Not because someone is your friend, that does not mean they want to see you succeed within life. So you're going to go to them and say, hey, you know what? I'm looking to, say for instance, I'm looking to join this network, or I'm looking to join this corporation. And they see within them that, wow, wait a minute, this person is trying to grow. Wait a minute, I'm not growing. You know what? I don't think that's a good idea, man. That's a scam. Or I don't know. When you're looking at what they are doing, absolutely nothing. But they're telling you something that's going to make you a better person, that it's a scam. Just for example, when I tell someone, I say, hey, I'm vegan. You think people think of it like, wow, this guy's a vegan. But within them, they're finding 6 million ways, some of them, not everyone, why they want to tell me how powerful meat is, why my body needs red meat, why I should eat meat, and I'm losing things. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should take my shirt. No, let me just stop that one. But anyway, maybe I should flex and show you that I'm not suffering from anything, I'm not losing anything, because I go about things a different way. So you find eventually now folks are coming around and saying, oh, wow, wait a minute, there's something he's doing different that I need to get on board with, because they're looking at the way you're always excited, you're upbeat, you're not down and just dragging. So when I'm making those type of decisions, I'm not going to go and call my brother, my sister, the people that doesn't understand health or not going to that direction, but I'm going to pick the phone up and say, hey, Justin, I'm thinking about going raw food. What do you think? I'm just going to say, hey, you know what, Rob, you probably need to look at going about an 80-10, not go fully, or an 80-20, not go fully raw, because, so, you know what, Justin, you're right. Because he believes in my vision, I know exactly where I'm going, so I trust his decision making. Just like Victor, if I have to make a decision on the internet, I have to make a decision on a blog site, I call him, hey, Victor, what do you think? And Victor will say, hey, Rob, you know what, don't go this way, go this way, because he believes in my vision and I believe in his vision. So that's just what you want to do when you're looking at making decisions.
Yeah, because you can't ever argue with the results, right? And like that should be the bar. Like if you could be getting training from people who are highly successful, that whether their system or whatever they're offering works for other people or not, you need to do a reality check and be honest with yourself and say, is this working for me? Why isn't this working for me? Is this something that is good for me? Is it me? Is the problem, something I'm doing, where I'm not receiving this, or I'm not putting this training into action? So, there's a lot there, and I want to talk about one thing before we get ahead of ourselves into action, and that is about following your gut. Because when you make good decisions, we talk so much about vision and how that can lead everything that we do to make decision making easier, right? But if you can get to a place where you're following your gut 100%, and this was literally in the Hebrew translation in the Bible, when they talk about following your heart, it's translated into following your gut. That was literally a gut feeling, was like down in your bowels, not your heart per se, like the organ. So like following your gut is a very, very like long-lasting idea, and if you can get to a place where you're not, the problem is so many of us have been just like stuck in a system for so long where we're not even thinking for ourselves. Everything is put in front of us, and that's what we're supposed to do. You go up, you go to kindergarten, you go to middle school, go to high school, go to college, get a degree, go get a job, and then just live out your life. Like, it's like there's so many options, but we have to be able to acknowledge the options and be led in the right directions, not from other people telling us what to do, but saying, hey, like we have a choice too. If you could remember, if you're just around kids at all, when you see a child and you ask your child, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? I mean, they just go off. They could just say a million things, a million answers to that question, because they have imagination. They're actively using their imagination. When people get older, there's no reason to stop using your imagination. There's no reason to stop going after your dreams. But people do it because they just follow a system, they get numbed out, and they're not engaged. So, I mean, to cultivate your mindset and stick with those dreams and like go forward and be in that place, you have to absolutely be in an engaging environment. That's the people you surround yourself with. That's the activities you do on a daily basis. I mean, the activities that you do can be something that recharges you, or it could be something that just completely, sucks your energy out, right? Are you coming home from work and just staring at watching 3 shows at night and just sucking your energy, and then you have to go to bed? Or are you coming home from work and like going to the gym, or you know, reading a book, or engaging with people about a way to, you know, be able to quit your job if that's what you're after, right? So what's going to engage your mind and what's going to numb your mind, and to be able to put those things into your life, that all builds. Like Rob's talking about a vegan diet, for instance. That's something obviously that he's found that's really helped him, and to fully commit to that, you know, is not an easy thing, um, but it's something that he's realized that, okay, this is gonna charge my body up. I'm gonna get the best fuel in my body so that I can sustain all of the activity I'm doing, and then that's gonna just snowball. That's gonna snowball into when he wakes up in the morning. Every activity he does throughout the day, it's going to be on a higher level. It's going to be more directed, and it's going to be easier for him to make quick decisions and go after what he really loves. So, with that said, I do want to go into. Actually, I'm gonna switch it over to you guys. So you guys can interact, because the next thing I want to say is kind of long. So.
Yeah, no, yeah, but the mindset's important. Like you said, when we were kids, we had this openness. You know, our imagination ran wild because we had not really, you know, bought all that was taught us by society, by schools, and everything. So we were open. You know, we had no limitations on what we can do. But then as we grew up, you know, both in our households and the schools and institutions, the organization we belonged to, that kept limiting us. And as we got older and older, as we went through junior high school, college, and then entered the workforce, we're pretty much always told what to do. So our imagination tends to be limited, and our beliefs tends to be limited as a result. So that's why I think it's very important to surround yourself with a community that will help support you in your ventures, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or anything else. Because if you surround yourself with people who try to limit your beliefs, you're going to be limited, because you're not going to be supported in it. And, you know, because we're social beings, we really need the support of fellow human beings. You know, people either at our level or people that are more successful with us, that will, you know, listen to us, that will understand us, that can help guide us. That is extremely important. You know, like mentors are important for succeeding, and just having that community. You know, before I got the community, it was really tough on me. You know, because I'd been in that environment where I was always told what to do. I worked in the corporate world for many years, and I really wasn't given much freedom to think on my own. I was pretty much told, do this, do that, do this test, do this project, and I was basically taught to fit in with everything. I really wasn't given much freedom to explore, you know, other things. So, and, you know, when I went the entrepreneurial route, I had to, like, really work on changing my mindset, and that was very important that I got that community of people, you know, that could help me out with that. And one thing that's important is, like, you know, like Rob, he has his vegan diet, and, you know, watching your body, your weight is important. Another thing, you know, you have to take care of is your mind. You know, the hygiene of the mind is extremely important. We have so many things going through our minds because we think about so many things, you know, our families, our jobs, our projects, so many different things, so many different worries. But we also have to give it a break. It's like, you know, we can't exercise all the time. You know, your body needs to break this, but so does your mind. So a couple of things I do each day is I try to find some 15 minutes quiet time for prayer for myself, which relaxes me, and also about another 15 minutes for visualization, so I could visualize the stuff that I want for my life. And I have some quiet time for myself, and it relaxes my mind. And when you do that, when you have that time for relaxation, it makes you more productive. People tend to think that I have to work nonstop because that's the only way I can really get things done. But actually, studies show that when you take these periodic breaks, you tend to get a lot more done. You tend to be a lot more productive. So, you know, first of all, resting your body, but also resting your mind is extremely important.
That is powerful, Victor. That is powerful, man. I mean, resting your mind, resting your body is important. I mean, we think we just have to go, go, go. And sometimes when you see some of the, you know, our colleagues post, and you're seeing some hours that they're working, and you're saying, wow, that is powerful, how many hours they're giving. But, you know, you dedicate the time up front at the beginning, sacrifice, and then you reap the benefits and the rewards at the end when you can relax and take it easy and, you know, go at it hard and slow down and take more vacations and things. But, you know, as even what Justin was saying, as far as to program the mind is powerful. I would tell you this. I mean, I wish, you know, we're going to do some hangouts. So that's why I said you guys got to stay tuned, because as I said, this is real talk, and it's nothing. It's no sugar coating, no book working, none of that garbage. It's just straight real talk. We're going to even go into some things where you're going to be using the mind and wisdom to overpower whatever you decide within life to do. I'm telling you, it is so powerful. Even I was in the gym now working out, and I'm picking up this heavy weight, and I'm saying to myself, it's heavy. But then once I instantly sat down and I said, I programmed my mind and said, I'm going to use wisdom, and I want 8 reps out of this without a spot. It automatically switched, automatically. So when you're thinking of doing something and it comes up with excuses, kick excuses right out of the park. I mean, honestly, kick it out of the park. If you're watching this and you're connected with me, kick it out of the park, because I even have folks that I'm working with now that still waiting for them to take action. Because why? Excuses comes first. Why I can't get started? You make excuses overpower your mindset. We can't allow excuses to overpower our mindset. Once the excuses comes up, we have to think within us right away and say, you know what, I'm kicking it out the park. Whether it's in your relationship, if your partner discuss something with you that he or she doesn't like, and they're ready to give an excuse for it, or you are ready to give an excuse for it, kick that excuse out the park and make it happen. I'm gonna use an example. I'll say roughly about a couple of, matter of fact, it was around Mother's Day. All right, my lady had asked me, she wanted a MK pocketbook. All right, I'm using this as an example, but it's real talk. And I was like, wow, you know, the MK pocketbook, you know, they're pretty pricey. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait. I'll get it for you. And you know what that was for me right then and there? That was an excuse. I'll get it for you, but when am I gonna get it for you? So you know what I did? I kick it out the park, because here's what happened. We're always gonna have bills. We're always gonna have excuses. We're always going to want to make up excuses. So you know what I did? I kicked that excuse out of the park and instantly went out and got her MK pocketbook, because you know what? She deserved it. She asked for it, and I got it for her. So that's an example of how I instantly kick the excuse of, well, when I get the money next week. No, find the money, get it done, because there's money always around. But it's what is important to us to spend that money on. So we use excuses. So back to it again, coaching, mindset, utilizing wisdom. So we're going to roll right into mindset. I know this is getting deep and passionate, but again, as I said, this is real talk. This is no sugarcoating stuff. Justin, kick it off, brother.
Oh yeah, so that's great. This is great transition too. I love the accidental transitions. So when you're talking about, Rob's talking about making excuses and giving up because of something that seems hard. And what I want to talk about is these words that people think, you know, you can hear the word negative, or you can hear the word, you know, like, I'll do it later, and that, I feel like that's been discussed a lot in our circles, but what I'm talking about are really like the new generation of swear words, if you will. And I've actually classified words in different categories, and I want to share them with you and what impact they might have on things you're doing right now. And I'm going to start kind of right where Rob left off, and that's like using the word hard or difficult. And this is sort of like overlooked, I feel like. Even saying something like, man, this is hard work to get to where I'm going. It's really tricky, because how do you view that? Like, how do you think of that in your mind, right? So if you're saying it's hard, are you putting it on a pedestal, or is that just sort of like, or does it just sort of not register in your mind? You need to be aware of that, right? So if in your mind you're thinking you're putting something on a pedestal because it's hard work, then there's no point in even speaking that word, right? There's no reason even saying it's hard. Say it's easy, because it doesn't really matter what it is. Like, you saying it is only going to manifest that into how you actually act the process out of completing that task. It doesn't give the task any sort of you can't change the task, right? The task is the task. You can say it's hard, or you can say it's easy. It's just a matter of your literally your brain chemistry is changing when you're using words like that. And you need to be aware of the words that are like affecting you. So I just want to quickly run through some other areas. One of the most common areas is around time. Okay, so doing it, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. You know, I will do something, or there's a category of decisiveness. So like I might do it, or I should do it, or I could do it, right? You're saying it because you think that it's good for you, but you're not doing it. You're just thinking about the idea of doing it, and that's like indecisiveness, and that's just as bad as delaying something. Um, Saying something in the affirmative is huge. I think I made a video on this. I think I'm going to make another one. I'm going to make another one tomorrow. So check that. You guys can look for that. I'm going to make a video on saying things in the affirmative and go a little deeper, because words like do not, I will not, or I cannot, that's overly simplified. But when you just speak in the affirmative of what you're going to do, you're looking towards the solution of everything. You're looking towards the actual action of what you need to do, right? Or need is another bad word that is used, but what you're going to do, right? You're going to do something. And if you say things like, "Oh, I'm not gonna, man, I'm not gonna eat that Big Mac anymore. I'm not gonna do it anymore." Subconsciously, you're actually telling yourself that you're going to. You're putting mental energy into the idea of eating a Big Mac, right? So that's very subconscious. I'm not going to go into the scientific and stuff, but really your mind doesn't hear the negative words. So there's no point in saying anything in the negative, and this is taught in people who teach like the ideas around the law of attraction and manifesting things through your thoughts and your words. They teach don't speak in the negative tense, because if you speak in the negative tense, then you're actually speaking in a positive tense. But it obviously, just by the nature of it, you're speaking against what you actually want to happen in your life. So you're actually wasting energy trying to write down affirmations or speak things out, but you're actually causing yourself damage. You're wasting energy, one, and you're actually moving in the opposite direction, which is the worst thing you could possibly do. So that's huge. One more is the idea of, I started with hard work, but the word work, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, if you have your business, for instance, or even if you have a job that you're fairly certain like you're in the right area, right? You don't just hate your job, but these words, work and job, do they have a negative context for you? Because it's pretty important if it does, and knowing if it does or not. Because if I'm gonna go to work and I feel like a drain every time I think, oh, I'm going to work, right? That's not just when you're at work. Say you have a job and then you have something you're building. In the other time that you're making the dollar for money income, and then you're building a different income source, building your dream. Hopefully is something, obviously if you're an entrepreneur, you're doing that, or health coach, for instance. So, but if you're going to your job and it's sucking your energy, and it's sort of you've began the process in the morning by just feeling like, oh, I got to go to work, and you just get up and you might turn into a zombie and you just are not energized, and it might not be something you love, but if you take that energy, if you take that attitude of like, I'm going to be a zombie at work, I'm not going to enjoy it, it's going to just be hard for me. When you get home, you're not going to be able to switch on the other switch that says, okay, now I'm ready to go and get energized and love what I'm doing. You're gonna carry that energy into everything you do after that. You can't flick it on and off like that. If instead, if you go to your job and you start to change the idea of work in your job in your mind, and you start to take that and try this. I've actually tried this. It works like very quickly. It worked very quickly for me. But if you go to a job that you're not stoked about, for instance, but take a positive energy, take the attitude that you're just gonna be engaged and you're gonna do good work there. And when you do that, it really translates to what you're doing when the time you spend on doing things you love, the time you spend with people. Just if you take the mindset of, I'm going to be switched on, I'm going to be engaged, I'm going to be someone who people can see my energy, people can see that I'm sort of switched on and engaged with everything going on, it just makes for just more fulfilling like life, and it's going to just build. Just like we talked about when we're talking about more about decisions, making important decisions to fuel your body to do things when you're switched on. It's all the same thing. It's going to snowball, and it's going to help you going forward. So with that said, I think I'll switch it over to one of you guys, and I love the hygiene of the mind, Victor, because it's so important to take those times, and you know, whatever, it's all awareness, right? It's like whatever works for you, whatever is going to, whether you need to recharge your mind or whether you're going to be engaged all the time where you don't need the downtime, whatever it is for you, definitely like take care of your mind, because it's literally where everything comes from. I mean, thoughts become real manifestations of physical nature, and you know, that a thought is so important. And so it's mastering your mind is everything.
Absolutely, because it just affects you so many different ways, including your physical. I mean, you know, if you're very stressed out and you're negative, it affects your health overall. You know, you're weaker, you're negative, you get sicker more quickly, and it's very important to have positive energy going through this. So I like what you said before about work, you know, going to work with a different mindset. So you wake up in the morning, and I used to do that too. When especially the last few years I worked in the corporate world, there were times I wasn't too happy, especially when it was quarter end and it was like super stressed out and I felt unappreciated. So sometimes I didn't walk in with the happiest outlook, and I saw when I got home I was just tired. I didn't feel good. I couldn't like get. I really, you know, wasn't pleasant, you know. And I was trying to like start working online back then, but it really was hard for me to focus because of the negative energy. So now, you know, I changed later on. Like now in the morning, I try to wake up with a positive mindset. I have a little gratitude journal, which I write about positive things I'm grateful for, like having a roof over my head, having a loving family, having, you know, great friends and stuff like that, having money in the bank. So I try to focus on the positive things. And that's just a great way to start off the day, because it just changes my entire day, you know, because the mindset is so different. It's so much more positive. And then when I'm talking to people, I come across so much happier. And people feed off that, because no one wants to deal with a negative person who's always complaining. They want to deal with someone who's upbeat and positive. You know, when someone's calling you on the phone saying, "How you doing?" You say, "I'm okay." That's a lot different than when you say, "I'm doing fantastic, life is good, how you doing?" You know, when people hear that, they think, "Wow, this person's happy." You know, they want to deal with you, they want to work with you, and you know, it just changes how you approach everything. And what we were saying before about the subconscious, I know we talked about this before, but I don't think a lot of people realize just how important the subconscious is. It's much more stronger than our conscious mind. So when you're using those negative words, like you were saying before, "I will not eat a Big Mac, I won't eat bad foods," it's better to say, "I will eat healthy foods," or instead of saying, "I need to lose 30 pounds," say, "I will exercise more, I will keep a healthy body." You know, you focus on the positive affirmations, because you will get a lot more done. And you know, talking about the decisions, it's also important. We got to make decisions and stick with them. Successful people tend to make decisions quickly and they stick with them. People who are not successful make decisions very slowly, and they're changing them all the time, and that's why you see these people who go from company to company. They go in a company, 3 weeks later they leave for another company because they can't stick with one. You know, you join an opportunity, you got to give it some time, whether it's 3 months, 6 months. You know, you can't like give it like 2 weeks and say, "Oh, I didn't make any money, it's a scam, I'm gonna leave," because that's just a mindset problem right there, which you need to change. You got to make a decision, stick with it, and then try to work at it. Keep going at it, keep pursuing it.
Are you guys really getting some value from this? If you're getting some value, I want to see some comments below this video, because I think that is so powerful, valuable message there. Because here's what happened, and that's why I said that we're put on this earth for a reason. And when you said about that, Victor, as far as when you ask a person, "How are you doing?" To be honest with you, here's what I do now. Honestly, I don't care who it is. When I walk by an individual and I said, "How are you doing?" and they ask me, "How are you doing?" I say, "I'm doing great." I'm not doing good. I'm not doing good. I'm doing great, or I'm doing awesome. Those are 2 words I'm using. Try to use those words. Do not use the word "I'm doing good." Good, because think about it. When you start using the word "I'm doing good," "I'm doing okay," "I'm hanging in there," those words feeds right into your energy, and that's where you're going to be. That's where you're going to stay, and that's not where you belong. That's not where we belong. Okay, so when I ask someone, I said, "How are you doing?" and it says, "I'm hanging in there." I said, "No, you're not." I honestly, I'm so dead serious, my two hand risen. I don't care who it is, whoever I say hello to on the street. I says, "How are you doing?" And the person says, "I'm just hanging in there." I says, "No, you're not." I said, "Look outside." I said, "You see the sun shining, right? And you're looking at it." I said, "You know that there's quite a few people that cannot see the sunshine right now because they didn't wake up to see, but you're looking at it. And you know what? There's never a person looked at me and says, go to HELL. They look and they say, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I thank you for that." So that word, "I'm just hanging in there," throw it out the window. Don't use it, because you're not hanging in there. Because hanging in there sounds like you're hanging in a pole, or we're just hanging in there. We have the last limb. We're about to fall. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. And when you say hanging in there, you got a roof over your head. You got a nice car. You may be on a couple of bills, but you know what? That's okay. That's just pick the best that you can pay and deal with it and live life and enjoy, because bills gonna always be there, as I said. So try to use the right words, as Victor said. Make sure that you're looking at life with a positive aspect, because everyone, when you think your situation is bad, someone else out there have it worse. I mean, I repeat it again. When you think your situation is bad, always think that someone else out there have it worse. And I give you one quick rule of thumb. Never get on your knees and pray for only yourself. I repeat it again. Never get on your knees and pray to the Almighty for yourself only and ask for, "Lord, give me this. Lord, I thank you for this. Lord, give me this." Thank Him, ask for things, but also make sure you're praying for others. Do not just pray for yourself. Keep others in your prayer. Givers gain. All right? So I think we should just roll right into the next topic, the last one, last but not least, and it is action. Action, action, man.
Boom.
Boom, action. All right, Justin, you want me to kick it off? Let me kick it off.
Take it away.
All right, here's what happened. Sometimes you hear folks saying, "I want to do, I want to be, I want to get there, I wish I can do." But you know what? Take a look. And I'm going to give you this to take a look at it. Just listen to their words. Listen to all what they want to do, all what I wish I can have, all what I wish I can go, I wish I can be there, and just look at their actions and see if those actions going along with the words. It's a hard thing for us to understand that action, proper action, drive results. We can speak on it, but guess what? When you speak on it, put it in action. I'm not saying if it's gonna cost you $1 million or it's gonna cost you thousands of dollars. Don't take your time and think about it, of course, but make sure we're looking at the action steps to get there. No matter what it is, it's some form of action has to be taken. But always remember, take baby steps. Start little by little and grow with it. I look at today in the position I'm in right now, where I was 6.5 years ago. If I didn't take steps and speak on those actions, speak on it. Say within you, say it out loud, what you want to do, what you would like to do, and take the proper steps. If you know you're at work and you said, okay, you're getting off work and you're going to the gym, don't just think it. Say, I am going to the gym at 6 p.m. That means you know there's a time set for it, you know there's an action got to be stepped on it, and you're going to be looking at your watch, making sure that you're getting there at 6 p.m. because you already speak it to your mind, and you already program yourself that you're going. If you're going to get on, do your email list, you're going to send out your email, speak it. Said, I am going home today, and I'm going to send out an email to my email list. Speak it, that means sometimes we write it, but we're not speaking it. Try to do both. Write it and speak it. Then you'll find yourself always thinking about it, what you're going to do. If you're traveling somewhere or you're going on a journey or trip, don't spend time wasting away valuable time. Spend that time thinking about the action steps you want to drive towards your future. Thinking about the action steps you want to give to improve others' life. Because remember again, this is not just about you. Your action has to involve others. Your goals has to involve others. Your dreams has to involve others, because no one climb a ladder alone. No one gets to the top by themselves. All right, so we roll right into any one of you guys want to just pick up from there.
Yeah, it's very true what you say. You got to speak it, you got to visualize it, and you got to take the action. And anyone it takes action can succeed. A lot of people have this mentality. It's a limiting belief, saying, I can't do it. But the only one who's stopping you is yourself. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example of someone who you were looking at him saying had no chance of succeeding. There's a man named Weldon Long. He was a career criminal. He had 7 years to go on his sentence, and he realized he wanted to change his life because he wanted to be a father to his son. His son was growing up without him. He was a bad seed, but he realized he needed to change his life. His father had just died, and it made him think, I just need to change my life. So he went about writing down things of what he wanted to do. Now, keep in mind, he had 7 more years to go in prison before he would be let out. So he went about doing things. He thought about the things he could do while he was still there. So he decided, I'm going to have a relationship with my son. So he wrote a letter to his son every week, saying hi, how much he missed him. Just keep in touch, keeping that communication going, so that when he got out of jail, he could, continue building that relationship. So he tried to do as much as he can, even though he was behind bars. He took college courses. He actually got an MBA while he was in prison. And then as he got out, now he went to look for work. Now, obviously, it wasn't easy. A lot of people don't like to hire ex-cons, but he persevered. And it was tough for him, but he took action. Eventually, he got a job selling air conditioners. And then within a year, he quit the company, started his own company. Within 5 years, he was making. He was a $20 million company. He was one of the fastest growing companies in Inc. Incorporated, and he's become a successful businessman because he changed his mindset. He made the decisions and he took action. He did everything we were talking about today. And if a man like that, with those kind of circumstances, can do it, anyone out there who's listening can also do it.
And that's a great story. Never heard that story. That was a really good one.
And he wrote a great book called The Power of Consistency. Weldon Long. I highly recommend it.
The Power of Consistency?
Yeah, by Weldon Long.
I'm getting it. Let me write that down. I'm making notes, man. I'm making notes. Weldon Long.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The Power of Consistency. Powerful.
Yeah, that's good stuff because, a lot of times people, it helps to hear a story or it helps to hear a concept of something before you can actually feel the desire to do it. Have something to back it up, right? So another great book actually is, same topic, is The Compound Effect. And that is by Darren Hardy.
Yep,
and
I have that.
It's awesome for like an understanding of why is consistency important, and that can help whatever kind of whatever motivates you pretty much is what is obviously what is take your pick. You can't pick every book, so it's important to definitely choose what's going to help you. So yeah, I have a lot I want to say. Where do I start?
Go ahead, man. Shoot it, man. We got. Let it rip. Let it rip.
That's right.
Real talk,
I want to get real by going with personal story, because we're talking a lot about concepts, and it's at some point you could bring it back to reality, right? And I'm not one of those people that I'm not going to get on a hangout and be like, oh man, business is just booming, it's just everything's great, it's awesome, because there are things that guarantee every single person on this planet is working through, right? We're all trying to get somewhere at whatever level we're at, and it's so important. I talk about this so much, but it's so important to understand who you are, what kind of person you are. What are you naturally gifted at? What are your skill sets? And what are your natural challenges? Because if you find your natural challenges, a lot of times you can actually find a great gift within it. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're talking about, Rob was just talking about, we were all just talking about sort of like this planning versus action, and what happened to me is, like, I had a reality check, and it's sort of escalated over the course of the last 6 months or so, maybe even just really 3 months, I would say. And it's this. I made a video about the curse of knowledge, and really what it boiled down to is just the idea of planning too much and not taking action. And what happens is, just understanding myself. I just do so much on self-awareness because I think it's so important. I think people just kind of overlook it, and that's why there's like this one-size-fits-all training for different things in life, and so many people fail. You look at the numbers of business, how many people fail? You look at people trying to get healthy, how many people fail when they set out to reach a goal? It's not the plan. It's not any of that. It's just who they are. Boil it down to who they are and how are they going to succeed, right? So that's so important if you understand who you are. And back to the story. So I started to realize within myself that I'm someone who is a learner, right? I'm very analytical. I will go out and I will learn as much as possible because I want to succeed so bad. I feel like I want it. Like mentally I want it so truly, but I had to have a reality check with myself and say, okay, what are my results? I said that earlier. Ask yourself, what are my results? Be honest. And I had to ask myself that, and I said my results aren't anywhere near they should be based on the time I spend, the effort I put in, and my desire. So, okay, what's happening? Okay, where am I focusing my energy, right? Where am I letting myself go? And because here's the deal. You can go and learn a ton of different things. You could start to get good in all these different areas, but are you actually getting results? Are you doing things strategically to actually warrant, are you producing, income or for your business, or are you producing results? Like if you're trying to lose weight, right? Is what you're doing actually getting you feeling better, feeling healthier? So ask yourself important questions. Don't just sort of go through the motions and then realize later, like, wow, I put in all this effort and really nothing happened. So, like, we're all going to have tie-ups. We're all going to have things that we are challenged by, but it's not hard. It's just the ability to ask the right questions and direct yourself in the right way. So with that said, we talk about vision, gut, and making easy decisions. And Victor said it great about how, making quick decisions, doing things fast and speedy is going to be something that very successful people will do. And, people who aren't seeing results are doing things slow and they're flip-flopping on decision making. So when you have a clear vision, when you're doing things from within yourself, you're not looking to others to make your decisions for you. You can get advice from key people, but you're ultimately making the decision yourself, right? And you're doing it from a deep place. You're not doing it on you're not making a checklist of pros and cons, for instance. You're doing it because you feel it and you know what the right direction is. And you need to, if you're not at that place, get to that place. Do whatever you can to understand yourself, understand where you're going, understand what it takes to actually get results, and go in that direction. And don't do this mediocre meandering around trying to figure out how do I make a good decision, because it's never going to happen that way. So with that said, I want to walk through quickly a step-by-step how to get really anything done. And it's just overly simplified, but that's what works, right? Simple works. And number one, set a plan and keep it super simple, okay? So when you make a plan, don't overplan. Because if you're a planner and you're an organizer and you like to make schedules and things like that, you have a tendency to overplan. So just make a one-page plan of what you're going to do. Keep it very simple. So if I'm going to try to create if I'm going to have a fitness plan for myself, don't go out and try to learn at bodybuilding.com or try to buy a program where you have to go learn fitness. If you're not a fitness instructor, don't do that. Just do something super simple. With fitness, one of the things is compound exercises, right? You can do exercises in short amount of times per day that work the entire body. You don't have to isolate exercises and things. Just focus on what's going to actually give you results, that you don't have to go off and plan for a week about, right? So just like within a 30-minute period, you could come up with an entire plan for the next like 3 months and just go with it, right? So keep your plan short. Number 2 is take immediate action on the plan. So you want to track everything you're doing, because the purpose of planning is to actually see it through in action. So if you don't see it through in action, you have no idea if the plan was good or not, and you have nowhere to go. Same thing with following through, like if you're doing a fitness routine and 2 weeks after doing a certain fitness routine, you're like, all right, well, I'm kind of bored. I'm going to move on to do something else. And then you do something else. You have no idea how to gauge your progress. You have no idea if what you were doing works or not for you, right? So you need to like give it a good time frame, and a good time frame is about 90 days for most things. Especially for business-oriented activities like a certain marketing activity, 90 days is a good time frame for that, right? So number 3 is to adjust the plan when you see improvements can be made. So you've tracked, you've set your plan, you've taken action, you've tracked results. Now you can make adjustments if you see fit, and it helps to have a very step-by-step process, to help you remember exactly what to do if that's you. And number 4 is to take immediate action once again after you've made adjustments, because you can keep making adjustments over and over and over again, and it's just sort of like a circular motion. So the key with this step-by-step, it's obviously very, very simple, but it's to never get stuck in planning and to make sure that you're taking action. So you're most likely it's like a spectrum, right? You're probably someone who takes more action and doesn't really plan a lot and just wants to just sort of go and learn as you go, or you're someone who loves to overplan and you're not taking so much action. You like to plan things out, like make them perfect, like the perfectionist. So where are you on the spectrum? Like, realize where you're at and make adjustments, because there's this a great analogy for this is the Myers-Briggs personality indicator is like the premier personality test that's out there. They use it for businesses and everything to understand teamwork environments and all kinds of things like that. And what Myers-Briggs does I just completely lost my thought, but I'm not gonna remember it until I stop remembering. I'm just gonna kick it over to Victor. And it was just a kind of a side point. So I'll just if it comes to me, I'll just come back to it. But I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I agree. Awareness is very important. You gotta know what kind of person you are. Are you someone who likes to plan, a perfectionist, wants to have everything right before you take action, or are you someone who just take action without thinking about it too much? You got to find out where you are, and you got to make those adjustments. A big problem is a lot of people don't have that awareness about themselves, and that's why they don't know where they're going. So you got to find, are you a thinker, are you a feeler, are you a sensitive? Like you tell Myers-Briggs, they have those different points, and there's nothing wrong. They're different personality types. Each one has a strength and each one has a weakness. So having that awareness, you'll know what your strengths are and then what your weaknesses are. So then you can focus on and when you know your weaknesses, how do I adjust to those weaknesses? Like, if you're someone who likes to take control, you get things done quickly, and you're a leader, that's great. But then your weakness is like you're not necessarily a good listener. You don't hear other viewpoints, which could be damaging to you. So you may need to work on that. And if so knowing your kind of personality type is extremely important, because then you know what you need to work on. Do I need to take action more, or do I need to plan more? What's the happy medium? And I think that's very important. I think a lot of people do not have that awareness.
That's true. I mean, just as you said about action and how taking action, I'll show you something. I'm sitting here, and that's why I say when you want to grow within life, you have to take a chance and take a risk. Especially, you find sometimes, someone is going to, okay, for example, use Victor for example, okay? I reach out to Victor and I say, hey, Victor, I love what you're doing. And Victor said, oh, awesome, get a blog, and it's $37 a month. And literally, people make this become a huge decision about $37. If you're that individual, you might as well change that mindset. Change that mindset, change that action, change the way you think. Because if you think about this, someone tells you $37, take a chance. Because you know what? It's the action step you're going to take right away that will get you to where you need to be. Perfect example. Here it is. Proof in the pie. If you can read it. But you probably can't because the light is on. But let me read what it says. It said, thank you. Your order has been placed. You know what I just did? Took action. That book will be in 3 to 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, I don't have to make a decision on the book. Right away when Victor shared it, I saw the value instantly from what he said about that book. And I feel it's something that I needed. And I could go ahead and download it on my phone, but I'm going to tell you why I purchased the hardcover. People, we're so wrapped up into technology, and you will find at times, because we're doing it, your surrounding is following what you're doing. So I have a 3-year-old, not trying to get off the subject, and what I see is that when all 3 of us is on our phone reading a book, he's no longer opening a book anymore. He's on the phone doing the same thing. So I purchased the hardcover book because I want to start opening books in front of him that he can see me doing it and take the same action that I want to take and start reading books. Same goes the Bible. I read the Bible on my phone because it's downloaded on my phone. It's just a lot more accessible for me to do that. Now I started opening the Bible itself and reading it from the Bible. The other night he says to me, I said, let's read a business book. And he says, no, Daddy, let's read the Bible book. So you see right away all the action steps being taken, and people will follow. So you or myself or we have to be what we want others to be to let them follow. So, that's just a quick example of how you take action. If you're on this hangout right now and you hear that book, if you're an individual that want to understand consistency, want to understand action, I don't have no recollection with the book, so I'm not getting any money from it. I don't know who did the book. First time I've ever heard of it, so I'm not pushing the book, but I'm telling you, it's about you growing. It's about myself growing. So I took action right away, and I purchased the book because Victor said it, and I looked at it right away, and I was like, whoa, that's value. Went straight to Amazon, and I purchased the book. So that's just what you got to do in your life. Take action, take risk, take chances. You will succeed. Believe in what you're doing, and you're going to fail, but get up and go again, because when you fail, you're only going to come back stronger, and you will understand more of how you will succeed. And when you succeed, you're succeeding big. So back to you, Justin. I hope you came up with your thoughts.
Yeah. I think it's 9 o'clock. About to close out here. So I'm just gonna actually I'm gonna throw it over to you guys before I close out, so that you guys can tell people how to contact you, anything else that you have going on before we close out. So Victor, why don't you go first?
Okay, I just want to say quickly, I love the example Rob gave, just ordering the book and, reading the Bible. He's setting a great example for his son, because like Rob's been telling me all night, it's not just focus on yourself, also the people around you, try to look after people. So he's setting a great example for his little 3-year-old. He's reading the Bible now, and this is the age when kids are at the most impressive. So he's setting a great example, to read more, to learn about faith. And I think that's a wonderful example Rob is showing for him. And I'll just say one last quote from Jim Rohn is, the pain of discipline weighs ounces while the pain of regret weighs tons. So when you don't take action, you have many regrets later. And like you said, you make a mistake, but you learn from it, you grow, and you become successful. But when you don't take that action, you regret it. So again, my name is Victor Dadaj. I'm an internet lifestyle coach, and you can reach me at victordadaj.com. Thank you.
Awesome. And for me, my name is Robert Shepard, and you can reach me at shepherdfit.info, and it's spelled Shepherd in the Bible, SHEPHERD.info. You can also contact me on Facebook at Rob Shepard72. You can reach me anytime. You can also reach me by my email, and I'm there to help you, answer any questions, guide you in the proper direction. And also, I am going to pump next week Google Hangout. Here is the for next week Google Hangout. It will be about, you have to be what you want your environment to be. So remember that. Don't miss next week Hangout. You have to be what you want your environment to be. Get that? We'll kind of tweak it a little bit, but that's what it's going to be. So here's going to be some tips that you can start thinking within your mind now and saying, whoa, I need to be here. If you want to be a good wife, make sure you are doing what it takes to be a good wife. If you want to be a good husband, make sure you're doing what it takes to be a good husband. Never downgrade who you are because you want to make someone else happy. Never downgrade who you are because you are not happy. I had a conversation last week, which that individual will be on the hangout. I'm not going to call her name, but she will be on hangout someday, sometime. But I actually gave her that same example. I said, never change who you are because you are not happy. Because once you change who you are, guess what's going to happen? You change you. So be on next week hangout. Don't miss it. All right, and we'll get more information out. Back to you, Justin.
Awesome, Rob. Awesome, Victor. So awesome to connect with you guys all the time. Every time you guys come on, Victor, you've become almost a regular here. But we do these hangouts every single Tuesday. We call it Real Talk Tuesday, and we're gonna start to do more engagement, so you guys can actually like interact with the show. So that'll be exciting, so that we can sort of hit on more topics and really get your feedback as we go along. Like I said, my name's Justin Messina. People call me JMess, and my website is justin-messina.com. You can see me at social media at JMessLife and Facebook /TheRealMessina. So with that said, you know, on behalf of the whole panel, thank you guys for stopping by, watching this video. Hope you guys get tons of value. Great stuff to come as we sort of take this real talk and really amp it up like 2 or 3 levels over the next few weeks. With that said, thanks for stopping by, and reminding you to live Vision Fit. We're out.